Coming out to family is often one of the most personal, emotional, and complex moments in an LGBTQ plus person's life. It's not just a conversation, it's a crossroads between fear and freedom. It's the moment where your truth meets your past. And in many ways, it's the moment where the person you've always known yourself to be steps forward and says, "This is who I am." But what if the conversation is difficult? What if your family holds beliefs that make you feel unsafe or unseen? What if you're afraid of rejection, disappointment, or silence? Welcome to today's video, Coming Out to Family, Navigating Difficult Conversations. Whether you've been holding your truth for years or just beginning to explore it, this space is for you. You're not alone, and you don't have to figure it all out by yourself. This video is your guide, not just to how to come out, but how to do it with care, intention, and self-protection when the road ahead looks hard. Let's begin by honoring something vital. Your truth is valid, no matter how others receive it. Your identity is not a problem to be fixed or a phase to be outgrown. It is a deep, personal part of who you are. And if you're considering coming out to family, it means you're stepping into your own power, and that alone is a radical act of self-love. But navigating difficult conversations, especially with family, can feel like walking through a storm without an umbrella. Maybe your parents have made homophobic or transphobic remarks in the past. Maybe they come from a cultural, religious, or generational background that doesn't make space for LGBTQ plus identities. Maybe you've already come out once and faced resistance, or worse, pain. This video isn't here to sugarcoat those possibilities. Instead, we're here to walk beside you with practical tools, emotional insight, and real-world strategies for navigating those hard talks. From preparing yourself emotionally, to setting boundaries, to dealing with backlash. This is about equipping you to show up for yourself in the most honest and empowered way possible. We'll explore how to assess emotional and physical safety before coming out. How to emotionally prepare for different reactions from confusion to anger. What language and tone can help keep the conversation grounded. What to do if the reaction is worse or better than expected. How to support yourself after the conversation ends. And here's the truth most people don't say out loud: you don't owe anyone your pain. If a conversation feels too dangerous or triggering, it's okay to delay it or avoid it entirely. Choosing when or if to come out is not about cowardice. It's about protecting your peace and honoring your journey. No two families are alike, and no two coming out stories will look the same. Some people are met with tears and hugs. Coming out to family is often one of the most personal, emotional, and complex moments in an LGBTQ plus person's life. It's not just a conversation, it's a crossroads between fear and freedom. It's the moment where your truth meets your past. And in many ways, it's the moment where the person you've always known yourself to be steps forward and says, "This is who I am." But what if the conversation is difficult? What if your family holds beliefs that make you feel unsafe or unseen? What if you're afraid of rejection, disappointment, or silence? Welcome to today's video, Coming Out to Family, Navigating Difficult Conversations. Whether you've been holding your truth for years or just beginning to explore it, this space is for you. You're not alone, and you don't have to figure it all out by yourself. This video is your guide, not just to how to come out, but how to do it with care, intention, and self-protection when the road ahead looks hard. Let's begin by honoring something vital. Your truth is valid, no matter how others receive it. Your identity is not a problem to be fixed or a phase to be outgrown. It is a deep, personal part of who you are. And if you're considering coming out to family, it means you're stepping into your own power, and that alone is a radical act of self-love. But navigating difficult conversations, especially with family, can feel like walking through a storm without an umbrella. Maybe your parents have made homophobic or transphobic remarks in the past. Maybe they come from a cultural, religious, or generational background that doesn't make space for LGBTQ plus identities. Maybe you've already come out once and faced resistance, or worse, pain. This video isn't here to sugarcoat those possibilities. Instead, we're here to walk beside you with practical tools, emotional insight, and real-world strategies for navigating those hard talks. From preparing yourself emotionally, to setting boundaries, to dealing with backlash. This is about equipping you to show up for yourself in the most honest and empowered way possible. We'll explore how to assess emotional and physical safety before coming out, how to emotionally prepare for different reactions from confusion to anger, what language and tone can help keep the conversation grounded, what to do if the reaction is worse or better than expected, how to support yourself after the conversation ends. And here's the truth most people don't say out loud: you don't owe anyone your pain. If a conversation feels too dangerous or triggering, it's okay to delay it or avoid it entirely. Choosing when or if to come out is not about cowardice. It's about protecting your peace and honoring your journey. No two families are alike, and no two coming out stories will look the same. Some people are met with tears and hugs. Choose the right time and setting. Timing and setting can make all the difference when it comes to difficult conversations, particularly something as personal and vulnerable as coming out to your family. The moment you choose to share a part of your identity can significantly influence how your message is received and how the conversation unfolds. It's not just about what you say, it's also about when, where, and how you say it. Choosing the right time means understanding your own readiness as well as the emotional state of your family. It's important to come out when you feel confident enough to express your truth and handle potential reactions, both positive and negative. If you're feeling anxious, uncertain, or pressured, it may be better to wait until you feel more grounded. This doesn't mean waiting for the perfect moment, because it may never come, but rather waiting for a time when you feel emotionally prepared and your family is likely to be receptive. Consider the mental and emotional state of your family members as well. Coming out during a stressful or emotionally charged moment, such as during a family argument, a major life event, or the holidays, can make it harder for them to fully listen and understand. Instead, look for a calm, private time when you can talk without distractions. This gives you the best chance of having a meaningful and respectful exchange. The setting is equally important. A private and comfortable space helps create a safe environment for a potentially sensitive conversation. Public places or group settings can increase anxiety and limit how openly people can respond. It's often best to have these conversations in a quiet place where everyone can speak freely without fear of judgment or interruption. This might be at home, during a peaceful walk, or even over a phone or video call if an in-person setting isn't possible. It's also wise to think about how long the conversation might take. Some coming out conversations are brief and supportive, while others may take more time to process. Make sure you have space in your schedule. Don't squeeze it in before a family dinner or a work meeting. Give yourself and your loved ones the emotional room to talk, ask questions, and reflect. Additionally, if you feel unsure, rehearsing what you want to say or writing it down beforehand can help you feel more in control. You might also choose to have a supportive friend or ally nearby or on call, just in case you need someone to talk to afterward. In essence, choosing the right time and setting isn't about controlling the outcome, but about creating the best possible conditions for honesty, empathy, and connection. Coming out is a deeply personal journey, and while the reaction may vary, being thoughtful about how and when you share your truth can make the path a little smoother for both you and your family. Be honest and clear about your identity. When it comes to coming out to family, one of the most important things you can do is to be honest and clear about your identity. It may seem simple on the surface, but in reality, speaking your truth can be one of the most powerful and sometimes challenging acts of self-expression. In a world that often encourages conformity, embracing your identity and sharing it openly requires courage, self-awareness, and clarity. Being honest about who you are is essential not just for the people around you, but also for your own well-being. When you hide or downplay your identity, it can lead to feelings of isolation, anxiety, and even shame. Coming out is a way to break that cycle and take control of your narrative. It tells your family, "This is me. This is real." Honesty opens the door for authentic relationships, ones that are based on truth rather than assumptions or misunderstandings. Clarity is just as important as honesty. When talking to your family, it helps to be clear about what you're sharing. Are you gay, bisexual, transgender, non-binary, or questioning? Are you still exploring your identity, or have you known for a long time? You don't need to have every answer figured out, but communicating clearly, Using language that is true to you helps others better understand and respect your experience. Using I statements can be incredibly effective. For example, saying, "I've come to understand that I'm gay," or "I feel most myself when I'm referred to as they/them," keeps the focus on your personal truth rather than making it feel like an announcement or debate. It also reduces the likelihood of defensiveness from your listeners, since you're not accusing or blaming, you're simply sharing. It's okay if your message is simple. You don't need to explain every detail unless you want to. In fact, being concise can be more impactful. What matters most is that you communicate with sincerity. You're not trying to convince your family of anything. You're sharing a part of yourself that you've come to understand deeply. That said, honesty doesn't mean you have to disclose everything all at once. You're allowed to set boundaries and decide how much you want to share. Being honest isn't about bearing your soul under pressure. It's about being true to yourself in a way that feels safe and affirming. Of course, not everyone will understand right away. Some family members may need time to absorb what you've shared. But by being honest and clear, you lay the foundation for future conversations and for deeper, more genuine connections. At the heart of it, coming out is not about changing who you are to fit someone else's expectations. It's about stepping into your truth with clarity and confidence. By doing so, you empower not only yourself, but also give others the opportunity to grow in love, empathy, and understanding. Prepare for a range of reactions. Coming out to your family is a deeply personal and emotional experience. It's an act of bravery that can bring freedom and closer relationships, but it can also be unpredictable. That's why one of the most important steps in the process is to prepare for a range of reactions, from love and support to confusion, denial, or even rejection. Anticipating a variety of responses can help you manage expectations and take care of your emotional well-being. The truth is, every family is different. While some may respond with warmth and acceptance, others may struggle due to cultural beliefs, generational gaps, religious values, or simply a lack of understanding. Preparing for this range doesn't mean you're assuming the worst. It means you're being realistic and emotionally proactive. Start by thinking through the personalities and values of your family members. Who is likely to be supportive right away? Who might need time? Who might react negatively? This mental mapping can help you feel less caught off guard and allow you to develop strategies for each possible outcome. For instance, you might decide to talk to a more supportive sibling or cousin first before approaching a parent who you suspect might struggle with the news. It's also helpful to remind yourself that initial reactions don't always reflect long-term attitudes. A parent might respond with shock, silence, or even anger, not because they don't love you, but because they are processing something they didn't expect. Emotions can run high in the moment, and it might take time for family members to understand and accept your truth. Give them space, but don't feel obligated to excuse harmful behavior. Part of preparing for different reactions is protecting your emotional safety. Think ahead. If things don't go well, what will you do? Will you stay with a friend, talk to a therapist, or connect with an LGBTQ+ support group? Having a safety net in place can help you stay grounded, no matter the response. You're not alone, and it's important to remember that your identity is valid, even if someone else struggles to see it. You should also prepare for questions and sometimes awkward or offensive ones. Family members may not have the language or knowledge to talk about gender and sexuality in respectful ways right away. Decide in advance how much emotional labor you're willing to do. It's okay to say, "I'm happy to share more, but I also encourage you to do your own research." And, of course, celebrate the supportive responses. Sometimes, the people we fear telling the most surprise us with love and openness. Those moments of connection and understanding can be incredibly healing and affirming. Ultimately, preparing for a range of reactions doesn't mean bracing for disaster. It means standing strong in your truth while recognizing that others are on their own journey too. Set boundaries and prioritize your safety. Coming out is a powerful and personal decision, one that requires not only honesty and courage, but also a clear focus on your emotional and physical safety. While it's natural to want acceptance and understanding from family, it's just as important to remember that your safety and well-being must come first. That's why setting boundaries is not only wise, it's essential. For many people, the idea of setting boundaries with family can feel uncomfortable. After all, these are the people who raised you, who you may love deeply and rely on emotionally or even financially. But coming out can change family dynamics, sometimes in unpredictable ways. Reactions can range from fully supportive to confused, angry, or even hostile. Because of that, it's crucial to go into the conversation with a clear sense of what you will and won't tolerate. Boundaries might look different for everyone. They could mean limiting how much you share, choosing when or if to come out at all, or ending a conversation when it turns hurtful. For instance, if a family member begins questioning or invalidating your identity, a boundary might be, "I'm not willing to continue this conversation if it's disrespectful." Boundaries aren't meant to be walls. They're guidelines that protect your mental and emotional health. In some cases, especially for younger people or those living at home, coming out could put you at risk of being kicked out, emotionally abused, or otherwise harmed. If there's even a small possibility of this, planning ahead is critical. Consider these questions. Do you have a safe place to stay if things go badly? Can you lean on friends, LGBTQ plus community centers, or support groups? Do you have financial resources or a backup plan? Coming out should never mean putting yourself in danger. Safety isn't just physical, it's also emotional. Being misgendered, invalidated, or constantly pressured to change can have a lasting impact on mental health. That's why emotional boundaries are equally important. It's okay to take breaks from conversations, refuse to answer invasive questions, or disengage from unsupportive family members altogether. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it's self-preservation. Remember, you don't owe anyone an explanation that makes you feel uncomfortable or unsafe. You have the right to come out on your own terms, in your own time. Some people choose to write a letter, send a message, or talk through a trusted ally. All of these are valid options. You get to choose how much of yourself to share and with whom. Ultimately, setting boundaries and prioritizing safety sends a powerful message, not just to others, but to yourself. It says, my identity matters. My mental health matters. I deserve to be treated with respect. Coming out can be a liberating and affirming experience, but it must be done in a way that honors your dignity and protects your well-being. Seek support before and after the conversation. Coming out to your family can be one of the most emotionally intense moments in your life. It involves vulnerability, courage, and a leap of faith. While you may hope for acceptance and love, you might also fear rejection or misunderstanding. That's why it's essential to seek support both before and after the conversation, not only to prepare emotionally, but also to help you process whatever comes next. Before you come out, having a support system in place can make a huge difference. This support can come in many forms: a close friend who listens without judgment, a therapist who helps you sort through your emotions, or a community group where you can hear from others who have gone through similar experiences. Talking to someone beforehand helps you clarify your feelings and gives you the space to explore different outcomes. It reminds you that you're not alone, even if the conversation with your family doesn't go as planned. Support before the conversation also offers practical value. Friends or mentors can help you practice what you want to say, offer perspective on how your family might react, and even role-play different scenarios. Sometimes, just saying the words out loud to someone you trust can ease the tension and make it feel more natural when it comes time to speak to your family. Having someone on call during the conversation can be comforting, too. Maybe it's a friend waiting for a text or a support group you plan to check in with afterward. Knowing that someone is there for you, ready to celebrate with you or help you heal, adds a layer of emotional safety that can't be overstated. But support shouldn't stop once the conversation is over. Whether your family responds with joy, confusion, or something more difficult, you'll likely need time to process the experience. Post-conversation support helps you reflect on what happened and figure out your next steps. If the reaction was positive, you may want to talk about how to continue the dialogue and strengthen those new bonds. If the reaction was negative or hurtful, you'll need space to grieve, rebuild your confidence, and reaffirm your identity. Support after the conversation can also help you stay grounded. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by a flood of emotions: relief, sadness, anger, hope, or disappointment. Talking through these feelings with someone you trust helps you understand them instead of being consumed by them. And let's not forget the power of community. LGBTQ plus support groups, both online and in person, offer connection, wisdom, and reassurance from people who've walked the same path. Sometimes, the best comfort comes from someone who simply says, "I've been there, and you'll be okay." Ultimately, seeking support is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength and self-awareness. You deserve to be surrounded by people who affirm your truth and hold space for your journey. Whether your coming out conversation brings celebration. If you've made it this far, thank you. Thank you for holding space for yourself and for this conversation. Coming out to family, especially when it's complicated, isn't just brave. It's sacred. It's a step toward liberation, even if it feels like walking through fire. Maybe your conversation went better than you expected. Maybe it left you feeling raw or heartbroken. Or maybe, just maybe, you're still building up the courage to say those words. Wherever you are in your journey, remember this. You don't have to rush. You don't have to get it perfect. And you don't have to do it alone. Difficult conversations don't always bring immediate clarity. Some families need time to process. Some won't change. Others will surprise you. What matters most is that you continue to honor your truth, quietly or loudly, publicly or privately, in whatever way feels safest and most authentic for you. It's okay to grieve what you hoped your family would be. It's okay to set boundaries with people who refuse to see you. And it's more than okay to create chosen family, people who love you because of who you are, not in spite of it. You are not responsible for changing someone's mind. You are not responsible for carrying other people's discomfort. Your job is to live in a way that's true to you, and to heal, grow, and flourish in your own time. If today's video gave you insight, strength, or just the feeling of being understood, I invite you to keep this conversation going. Share this video with someone who might be navigating the same path. Leave a comment if you feel safe. Let's build a space of support where no one has to walk this road alone. And above all, remember this. You are not alone. You are worthy of love and acceptance. And your truth is a gift, not a burden. Until next time, take care of yourself. Speak gently to your heart. And when you're ready, speak your truth on your terms in your power. You're doing beautifully.